How you going? Welcome to Pad Machines. I'm Kenny, and this is I'm stuck. And this is my half-scale RX7 drift kart, and it's powered by a rotary engine. So this is the Sachs KM48 160cc rotary engine. And today, it's finally time to fire it up. But first there's a few things to do. Got to couple that to there, run a drive shaft into that reversing gearbox and then a chain to the axle. And then it's finally time to get it started. Haven't had it running yet, and I've got that far, so let's get into it. Now this build I've got is a build off or collaboration with DK the welder. He's a fellow YouTube fabricator here in New Zealand, and we've decided to build two different model RX7s and different styles of building, different power plants, like different everything. You can't be more different. His is going full advanced electronics and everything, and mine's going old school combustion engine. So what I've got to do is couple this shaft into that end of where the crank was. This engine here is a 140cc pit bike engine that had a broken crankshaft. So this half is still good, which is what I want, the gearbox and everything, and it issues a 4-speed out the back. So I've had a little nosy at this engine, not too much though, just enough to kind of get a wee bit of idea how to do it. But I think this video is going to be a warning if you're a fabricator or an engineer or a fitter turner, a welder, a lathist, machinist. God. Yeah, so I am not experienced, I'm not trained, I got myself a 120-year-old lathe that I can practice on, and it's the type of lathe that when you get into trouble, the belt on the motor just slips. Like, it's that low powered that from factory it was foot powered, like the old foot powered sewing machines. It's pretty much like that. So it's perfect to learn on. It's not going to hurt me, but it does get annoying because you can't really do big cuts or anything. It does lathe type things, but I think it does more polishing than it does lathing. Now I know the word for that. Turning? Lathing? I don't know. So what we have here is the manual clutch. That's the crankshaft with the oil filter, centrifugal oil filter on it. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is remove the crank and cut that half of the weight, the other flywheel, the crank weight, whatever, cut that way back so it's a little collar just to retain the shaft, and then mount a new coupling straight onto the end of this plate thing that then can go into that, and then cut a dirty big hole in the side of here so I can access the bolts to bolt it up, kind of like your inspection plate on a clutch, so I can then bolt the two together, and then future Kenny can deal with oil leaks and stuff like that. Now I haven't been in the other side yet, so we'll see what we got to work with. Now if you guys want to jump in the comments and give any advice or what's the other words? Observations, ideas, anything like that, I'm open to ears, is that the word? But if you got criticism, keep it respectful. Don't have to say that, but I'm not experienced or anything like that. I'm just here giving it a go, and I don't know, just trying to bring my stupid ideas to life. Must be something I've got to take off. All right, I'm going to consult Mr. YouTube. No comment. We've all missed a bolt or two, haven't we, in our time? At least I've loosened it with the hammer and the screwdrivers. Come on. See, the hammer does wonders. Okay, so that, if I unscrewed it properly, should be able to get that out. Pull that, oh, I need to. Pull the crank out. So what I'm thinking is still use that bearing, and the other end will be supported by the rotary engine. That's my thinking. And the gear on it is right here that needs to mesh with the the clutch. So I'm going to cut that off, turn this way down, I think, just get the mass out of it, turn it or grinder. I'll grinder it down, and just so it's a little shoulder, a little collar, just to retain the shaft in place. Aha, got the part. So yeah, there's quite a bit of counterweight in that, which I've got to get rid of. I think the bearing's going to retain itself. Doesn't need much of a shoulder. Like, I could just cut it off straight here, but I'm not pressing that bearing out. So I'm just going to attack that with a grinder, go at it, and reduce it in size and get it balanced. Now, I was going to show you the lathe in action, but it's a bit underwhelming, and I don't think we know each other well enough yet for you to see my lack of lathe work. But it got there in the end. It's pretty much what I wanted. Just a little collar to hold that bearing. Yeah, exactly what I wanted. Now I'm going to call that good, or good enough. Do I have to push that back in? Tappy tap tap. We'll do it. Oh, there we are. It is. Is that going to hold itself? Yeah. I need to hold that in, don't I? Because that bearing's loose. Ah. Yeah. No, I can do that from the other side. Good. Now performed a kickstart delete, oil pump delete, and I've got that back in. I've now got to get the coupling sorted out from here to here. Now by the time you get all these covers on, that's about where we want it, right there. Now what I was thinking for a plate is one of these pulley that's lathed. It's not a cast one, and I can turn it down so I can bolt up to that, put a tapered internal bore there so they can fit on the other end, and then bolt them together. That should hopefully do the trick. Now my lathe doesn't really run too true, it's a wee more wobbly. It kind of does lathe type activities while it tries. Yeah. So I'll go with the 4-jaw, and I can get it centered up, because it's quite important to get this centered. I at least need a center collar, center something to locator, something. Yeah, maybe I do need to learn how to do this stuff. There's a bit of play though in when you weeble wobble it, but just running it, it's pretty good. Not too shabby for a 120-year-old lathe. Now I'm a bit ironic using the that dial indicator on something like this. This here is wobbly enough that the dial indicator doesn't really matter, but at least I'm trying. That's I won't say that's the main thing, but that's one thing. I've even got the lathe on a remote start, since the motor is just plugged straight in. There's no switch on it. That's your start stop handle, and then to change gears, it's feed the belt off and then feed it on again wherever you want to run it. So it's yeah, it's pretty safe. On another thing that everyone say when they come here to see my lathe is my handle runs backwards. I mean, it's forwards to me because that's all I know, but you know, I figure it's about the right way, isn't it? Right, left. Yeah. If it's all you know, it's all you know. But yeah, I'm going to get sick of this pretty quick and it'll be time for an upgrade, I think. So, alright, well, we are getting close. And I found a use for my engineering scribe. To get a measurement, so I can get a bit more closer before I'm guessing. Well, I'm guessing at the moment. Oh, I got miles to go. Yeah. Alright. Well, maybe you can watch this one, because I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but it's alright, you can't see much from there anyway. This thing you've got to be very light with. It's yeah. It's a very light machine. Getting close. Alright. I know it's kind of therapeutic, but at the same time it gets annoying that it doesn't really do much. There's a lot of chatter on it, and a lot of like just not happy. Go past it. Nice straight shoulder. That's it. Is it shoulder? Is that what I'm going for? Nice straight shoulder. We are getting close. Close. I don't really trust my scribe either, so. Oh, it's getting close. One more little. I keep thinking I can stop it with my hand. I've tried once, but yeah, it hurt a little bit. All right, I think that is going to be close enough. I'd be quite impressed if this does it. That there is going to. Oh, look at that! Ha ha! Right, where is my certificate? I'm now a machinist. Whoa! Well, embarrassing. A therapeutic amount of time has passed, and I've got the part somewhat, maybe miles off. Why is that not even close? Not even freaking close. All right, back to it. Well, 3 hour time lucky, hopefully. And we should have, wrong way, 2 of those that should mesh together once I do something about the little key in there. I think that's close enough. And then that one, bump this up to that one. And I'll just drill some holes and we'll go mount it. Time for an oily dry fit. And then we can see where this engine and transmission actually has to be mounted. Just chuck a couple of screws in that so it'll hold it. If I know where the other ones are, no idea. Took them apart a while ago. Oh, they're up there. Was about to say I took them apart quite a while ago, but nope. I know where stuff is. It's on the floor. Hopefully this will work. It's a wee bit of an roundabout way. It's kind of what I'm able to do with what I've got, because I can't really, machine things up or weld, or what else can't I do? I can slowly turn things in my lathe. So yeah, by no means was that fast or productive. It's actually productivity, I got it done, but it definitely wasn't worth charging. If I was an hourly rate, let's just say that wouldn't be that great. All right, got that bolted. That goes to there, and I'll just chuck a couple of screws in it. What's the worst that can happen? It'll fail. That's not really too much of a drama. I'll just take it easy on it. So all the force is going through these, well, it's not really going through these screws. Screws, sometimes they hold side loading, but a lot of times all they're doing is creating friction against the 2 surfaces that you're screwing together. Wow, that's my basic understanding. I don't know how true that is. We'll just say now, we don't, we don't come here for advice from me, particularly, well, yeah, especially not me. I do not give advice. Cut the forehead open of the gearbox, and look how good my measurement, well, I didn't measure it all, but perfect fit. And this gap here, I'm going to figure out a way to somewhat seal it up. I think maybe put a little plate on the outside and glue it to the top, glue it to the bottom, and then the inside one glue to the top, just to, unless it's upside down, it's not going to leak. That's my thinking anyway. I have gone ahead and made some engine mounts and a few other bits, just so this assembly process goes together somewhat painless. Not, I wouldn't say painless, but less painful than what it could be. So it may seem like I've done this before. Well, technically I haven't done the assembly process. I kind of assemble along the way. Send it. Now the way that I build things is, oh, that weld's already broken. Anyway, the way that I build things is pretty much everything is a prototype. Because I have gotten used to redoing things so many times that I can't see the sense in building it good right off the start. So everything that looks like it's going to fail, when you, well, yeah, it's going to be pretty obvious on this one especially. You'll see what I've built it out of. It's not that I don't care or don't want it to look good, but it's just that that I'm going to go in and replace it anyway. Well, there's a high chance that I'm going to go and replace it. So that's why I say, like, I build it somewhat lightweight and then just go and reinforce it wherever I can. So it ends up quite messy, but a lot of it are the original pieces that I kind of started with and just, you know, added on to from there. So it's kind of cool that you can see, I guess cool, it's my style is evolved into one that's somewhat shed built or messy or, you know, built from scrap. So that's just because I didn't want to waste good stuff on prototyping. Now here's an example of my prototyping. This is the adapter to go from the gearbox to the drive shaft. So I started with a standard sprocket, so it had the splines on it. I've put a circle piece with a round pipe and a square pipe, and the drive shaft then has a square end on it because it needs to be able to slide in and still grip. So I got that tip off, I was off Instagram or something, a 4-wheel drive diff. So I've got my slidey part, and that will bite into there. So we've got the reversing gearbox that is going to slide right in here. Now I'll show you this coupling here. That's another invention. It still needs a pipe over it to reinforce it all, but I've cut some slots in the end of the pipe and put a ring around it just so it bites into the coupling. And I also cut the end of the spline off that had the thread on it and drilled a hole in the end of the reinforcing steel, welded that in. So now I've got my jack shaft to go this way. This is my like go-to as reinforcing steel. And on the end I've made an 8-tooth sprocket. So we should get a 5-to-1 reduction down here. I've based the gearing off what a quad bike would do with a similar horsepower engine, and I think they were max rated for 70 something kilometers an hour, which is 2/3 of 60, 30, 40, 45 mile an hour, which I think will be, well, that's at the RPM of a 120cc engine. So this may put out more RPMs, which then increase the power. So it's probably geared, if it had the power, it's probably geared for maybe 100 kilometers an hour or 60 mile an hour, which I think should be plenty. So it's finally together, well, in its prototype phase. Some of this will stay and some of it will be replaced with heavy duty stuff. Like these couplings, yeah, I don't know. The drive shafts probably okay. It's a wee bit light, but it'll probably hold up. Definitely replace or straighten it, something. And that little sprocket there, I'm going to remake that little sprocket. Now, those of you guys that noticed, that has changed from last episode when I put them in. Everything's always changing. So they were from Honda City, and now I've put these ones in from the quad bike. I was going to use them up the front, but I was informed that that wasn't the correct way to do it. The correct way is an arm off here into a little donutty rubbery thing with a nut on the end, because it only has to go like that. So that's going to work out all right. Okay, now it's time to get this engine running, finally. The only thing I've done previously, which was 4 years ago, was squirt some fuel into the little breather hole and give it a drill, and it went cough cough. So I knew there was spark, and I haven't touched it since then. Just fingers crossed. I didn't want to have to deal with it, and now at this stage, it's time to get it going. Now I'm going to take the carburetor from the quad bike. Had no engine, but it had carburetor, so I'll use this just to get it going for now. Not that I know if it works or not, but should be good enough. I'll give it a quick clean out and then figure out how to mount it on the engine. Actually, I do have one more piece of wisdom. This is something that has bothered me. As soon as I found out about this, it annoyed me that I didn't buy them, and that's Japanese screwdrivers. So, how many of you guys work on small engines and Japanese engines, and the carburetors, the screws are always stripped out on the bottom of them? They're all like rounded off, and that's because it's actually not a Phillips screw that they use. It's a Japanese screw, JIS, so Japanese industry standard, and it's, yeah, so you can't do that with a Phillips screwdriver. Now water. Okay, I don't know if that's a good sign or not. Is that good luck to find water in your carburetor? Yep, blocked up. Yep, blocked up. Now I do have little pipe cleaners somewhere, which might come in handy. So I'm not sure about the tune for this engine. This carburetor is from either 110 or 110, 120, 125 sort of life in, like your standard Chinese engine. So I don't know if this carburetor is going to be big enough, but at least it's a place to start. So that can bolt onto there somewhere, and that has to rotate. So I'll get a square block for that. Yeah, that one's got to rotate. Or that one's got to rotate. That way. That's the way. And then that's got to rotate. Just make a new one out of a piece of square aluminium. So then you can bolt both sides, I think. Yeah. You've got to stop and think sometimes. Really got to start working on getting these videos a bit shorter. Yeah. So I thought doing 2 a week might help, but it hasn't. It just made me film more. This is a lot of effort for a carburetor that I may not even continue to use. But at least I'm doing, well, I kind of like it for practice though. Oh, that is wobbly. That hole is massive. As long as I can somewhat seal it up, I'm not too critical. And that is going to be hot, isn't it? Because aluminium transmit heat. I managed to narrow these holes down a bit, the screw holes, so that all should fit in. I was just about to say, if this works, I'll just leave it here, but I have a feeling this might be in the way of my feet. That might not work right to there. I might need to bring it up the top, and it's going to take a wee bit more ducting, and yeah. So this might just be for a testing purposes only. And the carburetor goes on to the back, and it has its own O-ring built in. So I was planning on putting on the starter as well, like today, but it's getting a bit late, so I'll save that for next time, and we'll just start it with the drill. All right, it's finally time. Got the choke on. Which direction does it go? That way. All right. Might need faster, I don't know. All right, more powerful drill now. Choke on. Bit of throttle. It kind of worked. Oh, good. All right. So it's just not getting fuel, which is, yeah, about what I was expecting. Fueling issue. Let's try get some more fuel in there. It's probably just the carburetor not sucking it up. Okay, throttle, choke on. Oh. Yeah, it's just not getting fuel. All right, I'll put you out this side so you can see if there's flames coming out of there. Oh well, I think that's about all it's got for now, but such relief that it actually went. So yeah, I think the culprit is in the carburetor, which we kind of already knew, didn't we? Now I wasn't about to try my drivetrain out. Got to get the engine running first. Oh, and such relief after all that time of building it. I knew it would run. We'll say it runs. Just a carburetor issue and fueling and stuff like that. But anyway, next video I'm going to get onto the steering, strengthen up the chassis so we can kind of climb in it on its own feet and try out that suspension. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.